Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 10:50 a.m., following broadcasts in 102.3 FM and 106.5 FM. We are serving the world one household at a time. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Kimiator Peak Performance Coaching.
Hi, this is Steve Matley at Fabulous Lifestyle Radio. We are talking finance today, and my next guest up is the wonderful Dr. Janice Bell. Janice, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Steve.
We are going to be talking to Janice about how you can be the bank. Have you ever gone to the bank and had to go through all those hoops to get a loan, or you go to a hard money lender and you got to qualify? Did you know that instead of going through that, you can be the bank for someone else, and you can loan the money for a purchase, you can loan the money for construction, for rehab, for anything they want, and you can determine the terms, and there's a way to secure that so that you're not going to lose it. And Janice is an expert at all this stuff. She even runs a club, and we're going to talk about that too. Janice, first of all, I want to start off by asking you, how did you get involved in learning how to be a private lender?
Well, the way I got started is I was, an investor looking for money and looking for loans, and how do I fund multiple deals at once without applying for those bank loans and keeping so many loans on my credit report at the same time. So you start getting advanced, and you need to start looking for private money.
Okay, so now did you have a big, huge pot of money like wrapped up in foil in your freezer or stuffed under your mattress, or did you have a big savings account? How did you get started in being able to loan money to people?
Well, it's a device that a lot of people have, and that is a 401k they have with their employer. And now our jobs aren't staying with us till we retire. So most people have a 401k left over from their old employer, and that's really how they get started. You can then start private lending with that. And did I have a pile of money when I started? It really doesn't matter how much money you start with. When you invest in real estate, we know how much houses cost. You will run out eventually, and you'll be looking for other funds.
Okay. So now you said you have this old 401k, but you can't just go take your 401k money and buy a house with it. There's a process you have to go through, and you can't leave it as a 401k to do that. Normally you have to switch it over to something else. So what does that process look like?
Absolutely. Well, once you leave a job, your 401k is separated from your employer, and you're free to keep it where it is, which is kind of boring, with 5 mutual funds, or you can move it into what's called a self-directed IRA, sometimes called SD IRA, meaning you self-direct. You can invest in individual stocks, real estate, a lot of different vehicles that you can't do with the 401k because your employer is controlling it.
Okay, and so this is a special kind of IRA set up under the IRS definitions that allows you to invest in more than just those few mutual funds. And of course, the individual custodian may drive some of what you can invest in too, I'm guessing.
Right. There's a number of companies around the country that have been doing this for years, and it was written into the IRS code that you're allowed to do that. So there's a reason that the stock companies, like the ones we like, Schwab and all those companies, don't want you to know about this because they only get commissions by you buying and selling stock.
Not by you loaning to your neighbor for doing an add-on.
Right, and they're not really designed for that.
Right.
So the self-directed IRA companies are specifically set up to loan that type of money and to look at the documents that go with it. So it's not a stock certificate. It's different kind of paperwork.
Okay, and those are referred to as custodians.
Yes.
Because essentially what they're doing is they are keeping you one step away from your money. So you are directing where it goes, but you can't personally touch that money or put it in anywhere.
Absolutely. So your account is really a separate entity, and you can never bring that money. The money goes out to your investment and goes right back to your account. So you never touch the money yourself.
Okay. And so now, if you don't have the IRA also, there are some people that have high deductible health plans, which means they have a HSA or health savings account that goes with that. You can also use that money. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's a number of accounts you can self-direct. There's a very small one for college, the CISA, but there's also the HSA accounts, which a lot of insurers are requiring you to get now. If you have a high deductible plan, you get to put money into this. And so you can put money in up to, I think, about $3,600 for this year. But if you have a family, you're up to $7,200 a year. And there's a catch-up involved, another $1,000 if you're over 50.
So up to almost $8,000 you can put in per year.
And that account can be directed just like the IRA. So, we would have an IRA self-directed, an HSA self-directed. When you retire, the HSA acts just like an IRA. So if you don't use it for medical expenses, you can still take it out and pay the tax just like an IRA.
And it's not a flex spending account, which expires at the end of every year. This is rollover money that you want to build up.
And this is why I want young people to know about it, because it's not just for people when they retire. When you have a health savings account, you use it for your health care, but if you're 21 all the way up. And you don't have to go to your insurance company to ask for permission. Whatever you're allowed to do is listed in the federal tax law. And there's just a list of medical expenses, including LASIK surgery, your dental care, chiropractic, whatever you need, whatever the federal government allows. It doesn't depend on your insurance company.
So now what kind of things can you invest in? If you're using an IRA or an HSA to be a private lender, who can you lend to? What can you put money into?
Good question. Well, the most simple way to do it is to do things that we're all familiar with. Buy a house or buy a house and have it be a rental.
But
so
can you buy your own house with the IRA money?
No. So you for the same reason that you can't touch the money, you can never benefit yourself.
So I cannot buy a house and rent it to my daughter?
No, you cannot do it with anyone, I would say north and south of you. Your parents or your
direct
kids.
lineage. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You can go into an investment with cousins and aunts and uncles, people that you don't have undue influence over. And there's certain laws about that.
Okay.
On who you can invest with. But you can put money into a rental property. You can also lend money to someone. This is where the bank part comes in, to someone else who's doing a house flip. And so you want to make sure that you can, say someone needs $50,000 to $100,000 to fix up a house. They already got the loan to buy it. You can lend that $50,000 or $100,000 to have them fix the house.
Okay, so now let's say I lend the person down the street $100,000 because they bought a house, they're going to fix it and flip it, and I'm going to get some profit. Right? I'm gonna get some. How do I make sure that my money doesn't get lost? I mean, what if they flake out?
Right. So there's two things you need to vet when you do something like that. You need to vet the project and you need to vet the person.
Okay.
So you got to make sure that person has experience, they know what they're doing, and you need to make sure that their previous projects and future projects will work. But the other thing you need to do is make sure that your money is tied to the house, and that's where you have a note with that person. So it's a promissory note detailing the terms. But you also then have a deed of trust that's recorded at every county courthouse in this country. And so your note is attached to the house. That person can't sell it or do anything with it without you being notified.
So if they mess up and the bank comes and forecloses on the house, you have to get paid off before they get any money out of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's how you secure yourself. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I also know that you educate people on this and you have a club. You want to talk about, you put together a club to help people with this. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I learned that I was helping so many people get their accounts going. And instead of teaching them, there's a lot of clubs that teach real estate. I wanted to teach how to find the money and how to lend the money. So people in my club, some of them are looking for funds and some of them have the money. They're busy with their job, they love their career, and they lend it to people in the club. So it's private lending on both sides.
Okay, so it's teaching them how to use it. It's also matchmaking between people with money and people that need money.
Absolutely. And then instruction on how to set up the account.
And I know you do masterminds.
How to be safe.
You do masterminds to help people learn from each other, right?
Yeah, we have a main speaker, and then we do a mastermind where I answer questions.
And if somebody listening to this wants to know, how would they find out? Do you have a website?
Absolutely. So it's called privatelendingmasters.club, not .com, .club. Okay. And you go there and you can see when our next speaker is. We're going to be talking about apartment investing in 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, are you meeting remotely or on ground, or how does that work in these days?
Anyone across the U.S. can come and listen because we do Zoom calls, we do webinars, and we have national speakers. The guy speaking's from Houston. He's going to talk about investing in large apartment complexes by putting your money in privately.
And you yourself have done this repeatedly, correct?
Oh, I don't
Yes.
teach anything I don't do. So I invest our IRA and our HSA in multiple projects, house flips, rentals, as well as apartments.
Okay, and has every project you've done gone exactly the way you planned?
No, nothing goes exactly the way you
Okay.
planned. Absolutely.
That was a trick question.
Some projects take a little longer than you might expect, but it's always good to be in contact with the operator, the sponsor of the project. And like I had a call with you last week, is that one ready? Oh, we had some issues with the city, so I know that it's going to take a few more months until we're ready to go.
And that-
Raw land's another investment. I forgot to mention that.
Yes, and that's a key. That's one reason why you want to join a group or association club like Janice's and get mentoring and training, because you're going to learn from everybody else's mistakes. Investing in anything and real estate in general, it has a lot of unknowns and unpredictabilities. And last I checked, none of us control the universe.
Absolutely.
Right? So with that being the case, getting as much help from as many people as you can that have already stubbed their toe a few times is a big help.
Yes, I've been doing real estate investing for 30 years, so I've had a few knocks along the way.
Great. And I've known Janice well because of this, and I will tell you, she is another person that has taken her lifestyle of enjoying investing in real estate and learning how to do it and how to use money that she didn't know she had by helping other people and making money on that on top. She's turned her lifestyle into an investment vehicle that then in turn funds her lifestyle again. And that's the key. So private lending is just another fantastic way to fund your fabulous lifestyle. We'll be right back.
We are live on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 10:50 a.m., following broadcasts in 102.3 FM and 106.5 FM. We are serving over 5 million households in the Inland Empire, North County, San Diego, Orange County, and San Gabriel Valley. We are serving the world one household at a time. We are also in iHeart, Spotify, Tiki Live, Ustream, Apple, iTunes, and anywhere with your favorite podcast. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Up Connect, and Kim Yater Peak Performance Coaching.